Hello, Andrew. My name's Jane, and today I'm going to be going through a 24-hour recall with you. So, we're just going to talk about some of the foods that you ate yesterday from midnight to midnight, so consumed during the day, and you're just going to tell me a little bit more about that. So, first, we'll make a list of the foods you ate and drank yesterday. It may help you remember what you ate by thinking about where you were, who you were with, or what you were doing, like working, eating out, or watching television. Please tell me everything you had to eat and drink all day yesterday, from midnight to midnight, as I mentioned, and include everything you had at home and away, even snacks, water, soft drinks, and alcoholic beverages. I'll ask you for a few specific details and amounts of food in a few minutes. This time, just tell me what you had from what you can remember from yesterday.
Should I include like times that I each one?
You can just say in the morning I had this, in the afternoon I had this, at night I had this. You don't have to specify specific meals or anything like that.
Okay. For breakfast, I had an English muffin with peanut butter and jelly and water with a noon tablet in it. Um, and then for like a mid-morning snack, I had yogurt with granola in it. Um, and I guess throughout the day, my throughout my work day, I probably drank like one water bottle of water. Um, and then as like I guess like a second mid-morning snack, I had um, pita chips with a spinach artichoke dip. And then for lunch, which was probably at like 2 o'clock, I had a meatball sub. And then for dinner, I had salmon and broccoli and whole wheat pitas with butter. And I guess with dinner, I had another glass of water. And after dinner, I had a Snickers and a Twix. And I think that's it.
Okay, this is a good start. So, anything else you can remember from yesterday? Or is this pretty the general idea
In terms of what I ate,
and what you drink?
yeah, this is everything I'd say.
Okay. So, next, let's talk about some categories of foods that are often forgotten. So did you drink any beverages like coffee, tea, soft drinks, milk, or juice yesterday? Or you had reported that you had had water, and additionally, you had had water with an electrolyte tablet, but any other drinks you can remember that you had yesterday?
Nope, no, that's it.
Okay. Any type of probiotic drinks or anything like
That's
that?
true. I guess I had some kombucha.
Around what time did you have kombucha?
Mm, like 11 a.m.
Okay.
with my yogurt.
Okay. Did you have any alcoholic drinks yesterday? Okay. How about sweets? I know you had mentioned the Snickers and Twix that you had at night. Did you have any other sweets throughout the day? Any type of cookies, other candy, any other point during the day?
I don't think so.
Okay. Think about snacks. I know you had mentioned a few different snacks that you had, like pita chips with a spinach artichoke dip. Did you have any other chips, crackers, popcorn, pretzels, nuts, or other snack foods at any point throughout the day?
Uh, I mean, I probably went to the cabinet and grabbed a handful of chips, but wouldn't say it was a meaningful amount. But yes, probably a little bit of I don't know, grazing.
Would you say that that occurred later in the afternoon or
Uh, no, probably like at noon.
okay. Did you find yourself grazing on anything like fruits, vegetables, or cheese?
No.
Okay. How about breads? I know you mentioned you had pita with your dinner. Did you have any other bread? And you had mentioned an English
Mm,
muffin that you had in the morning. Any other
yeah.
bread that you had throughout the day?
With the meatball sub, it was on like a roll. Uh, so yeah, bread there.
Okay. Anything else that you remember eating or drinking throughout the day?
No.
It sounds like you had a meatball sub around 2 p.m. and then didn't have anything else until your evening meal. Is there anything you can remember that you had in between that time or no?
No.
Okay. Okay. So we're just going to get a little bit more detailed about your eating patterns over the past 24 hours. So you mentioned a few of the times already that you had everything at, but about what time do you think you started your day with your English muffin, with peanut butter and jelly, and your water?
7:30.
Okay. And then you mentioned for sometime in the mid-morning you had yogurt with granola and some water. Around what time do you think that was? Did you?
Probably like 10.
And okay. And you also mentioned for a snack that you had had pita chips and spinach artichoke dip. Was that after your yogurt?
Yeah, that was probably at noon.
Okay. And then you had said that you had your meatball sub around 2 p.m. You mentioned that you were probably grazing on chips around noon. So you think that was around the same time as you had your pita chips?
Yes.
Okay. And then for your salmon and broccoli and pita, your evening meal, what time would you say that was around?
Probably like 7.
Okay. And then your Snickers and Twix after that, what time would you say?
Probably 8.
Okay, so it looks like you had your morning meal around 7:30 in the morning. You then had a mid-morning snack around 10 a.m., followed by a little bit later in the mid-morning snack around noon. Then you had a meatball sub at 2 p.m. and then had your evening meal at 7 p.m., followed by some candy at 8 p.m. Okay. Um, okay, so sometimes we eat at times other than typical meal and snack times. We may not always remember these foods. So I just want to go through the list one more time and see if there's anything else that we might remember. So at 7:30 in the morning, you had an English muffin with peanut butter and jelly and a water with noon. Was there anything else you added to that meal, like fruit or anything?
No.
Okay. And then around sometime between 10 and 11 a.m., you had a yogurt with granola and a glass of kombucha. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. During that time, you were drinking water as well, which you drink consistently throughout the day. Is that correct?
Yeah. Just a little bit of water throughout the day.
Okay. Then you mentioned that around noon you had pita chips with spinach artichoke dip. Is that correct? Was there anything else included with that?
Oh.
And you had said that you were probably grazing on chips around that time
True.
too. Was that pita chips or was that a different type of chips?
Like potato chips.
Potato chips, okay. Then the next thing you reported was a meatball sub on a roll at around 2 p.m. Did you eat that with anything else or just the meatball sub?
Just the meatball sub.
Okay. So between 2 p.m. and 7 p.m., you have not reported anything. So were there any type of snacks that you were having during that time? Any
Yeah,
chips?
yeah, that's true. I actually might have had a granola bar, like a fake granola bar, uh,
Okay.
at like 4 p.m. after the meatball sub for dinner.
Okay. Okay, and then around 7 p.m., you had salmon, broccoli, and whole wheat pita with butter and a glass of water. Is that correct?
That's right.
And at 8 p.m., you had a Snickers and a Twix.
Yes.
Was there anything else that you had in between your evening meal and your evening snack, or
No.
okay, so let's talk now a little bit about the food that you ate. So, we're going to talk about where your food was obtained, and we're just going to talk about some like descriptions and amounts. So, for your morning meal, your English muffin with peanut butter and jelly, did you just have one English muffin?
Yes.
Would you say, or how much peanut butter would you say that you had? You can use tablespoons, teaspoons.
Uh, Maybe 2 tablespoons.
Okay.
Is that a lot? I was thinking one per side.
Okay. And jelly.
Uh, Half a tablespoon, just a little bit.
Okay, and then for your water with Noon, did you just use one Noon tablet? And did you just have one glass of water?
Yeah, it's probably 16 ounces water, I guess.
Okay. Then around 10 a.m., you had yogurt with granola and kombucha. How much yogurt would you say?
Just one serving. Okay, I don't know how big the standard yogurts are. Maybe 6 ounces.
Okay, and do you know what kind of yogurt this was? Was it
It was a Greek yogurt. I don't know the brand.
okay? How much granola do you think you put on your yogurt?
Um, 2 tablespoons.
Okay. And about how much kombucha did you drink?
Uh, Probably like 4 to 6 ounces.
And do you know where your kombucha came from? Was it homemade or
It was purchased from Whole Foods, so not homemade.
okay? After that, you had pita chips and spinach dip around noon. Can you give me estimates for about how much of each of those you had?
Um, I don't know, maybe 15 to 20 chips, and
Okay.
I don't know how I would estimate the dip. I
Could
don't,
you could use cups as a measurement?
half a cup.
Okay, and then you were grazing on potato chips around that time as well. Any estimate about how many?
Just a handful.
Okay. And those potato chips, were they kettle cooked or baked, or do you know?
Uh, I would go with fried. Or yeah.
Okay. Then your next meal was at 2 p.m. You had a meatball sub on a roll. Were those meatballs from a takeout restaurant?
They were homemade meatballs.
Okay. And how many?
There's 2 meatballs and probably, I don't know, 6 inches worth of a sub.
And was that sub white bread or whole wheat?
White bread.
Okay. Then you mentioned that you had a fig granola bar at 4 p.m. Um, how? much of this did you have?
One serving.
Okay. Do you know what kind of granola bar this was?
No, I don't know the name of it, but in yeah,
Do
I
you
know
know
about it.
where you got it?
Also Whole Foods.
Okay. And after that, you had your evening meal. You had salmon, broccoli, a whole wheat pita, and butter. Can you tell me how much salmon you had?
It was like a third of a pound.
And was that farmed salmon, fresh salmon?
Farmed salmon.
And was it frozen prior to cooking
No.
or okay, was it seasoned with anything?
Yes.
Do you know what it was seasoned with?
Uh, Not specifically, no.
Okay. About how much broccoli did you have?
Uh, Maybe like a cup and a half.
And how was the broccoli prepared?
It was just baked with a little bit of olive oil, salt, and pepper.
Okay. And the whole wheat pita, how many of those did you have?
Like one full pita.
And you had that with butter?
Yes.
Okay. And then about how much water did you drink at dinner?
Uh, Probably like 16 ounces.
And in addition to that 16-ounce glass of water plus the 16 ounces of water you drank in the morning, how much would you say that you drank throughout the day?
Probably another like 24 ounces.
Okay. And for your evening snack, you had a Snickers and a Twix. Can you tell me how much of each of those?
Uh, just like the bite size, one
Bite-sized.
of each.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Holly kitty size.
Okay. Great. So it seems like we've gotten pretty much everything that you had yesterday. Has anything else come to mind that you may have had going through all of this? Okay. Um, and throughout the day, did you put any toppings or condiments on any of these? I know you mentioned your peanut butter and jelly on the English muffin. You mentioned butter on the whole wheat pita. We talked about the seasoning of the salmon and the broccoli. Was there anything extra you put on your meatball sub?
Uh, no, just the like sauce that was the marinara sauce that was on it. So I guess that wasn't explicitly called out before. But no, other than that, I can't think of anything.
Any other toppings you put on your yogurt?
No, just the granola.
Okay. Okay, so this sounds good. I'll just ask one more time. Anything else you can remember that you had yesterday?
No.
Okay. Well, this is great. And I have no further questions. So thank you for going through this with me and taking time to remember everything that you ate within the last 24 hours.
Absolutely.